What's up, guys? I'm here to talk about the JQ, the Jewish question. Did the Jews run the world? Are the Jewish bankers in charge of everything? Do they run the media? What about Hitler? What about World War II? I'm here to talk about this. So after doing hundreds of hours of research, also coming upon people who are banned, like Nick Fuentes, I've come to my own conclusion. I've even come across scrolls, hidden scrolls, hidden in an archive somewhere that I got my hands on in the secret basement that were World War II documentaries. I've came to my own organic conclusion after synthesizing my ideas and my thoughts. I've come to realization that the Bible was right about no Jew, no Gentile, no Greek, no Roman, but we are all equal in God's eyes. We all have sin within us. If I tell you there is a black guy, an Asian guy, and a Mexican guy, one's good at math, one's good at construction, one good at basketball. Of course, stereotypes exist for a reason, because you would think that the black guys with basketball, the Mexican guy with construction, and the Asian guy good at math. Stereotypes exist for a reason. So one of these stereotypes is the Jews run the banks. It's a stereotype that's real. Now, don't get lost in the sauce like how Hitler did. Don't get lost in the meth, because Hitler was ultra paranoid, and he said they run the banks, they even run Germany, they run the media, they run everything. They have, shops everywhere. They're everywhere, like a bunch of like a parasite. They're scattered across the country. There's only 16 million Jews. This is what would happen in the old world. The Christians and the Muslims who built civilizations, and they would usually go off the gold standard or silver or trade, and the Jews would come in and they believed in usury. So if I gave you $10, you owe me interest, so you give me $15 or whatever. The Christians and the Muslims, for being honorable, they didn't believe in that. But there is a hole in the vacuum. There's a power vacuum in these financial worlds, in these ancient civilizations, and the Jews very much fill that role. So it's not that they're evil. They're not evil. There's just a power vacuum, and they filled in that hole. The Jews used interest, obviously gained some power through financial gain, and did their thing. I can respect it. That's a stereotype that exists for a reason. Money is logic-minded. Money is like a double-bladed sword, double-edged sword. Or it's like a hammer too. You can build a house or destroy a house. And the Jews know how to run the money. They're not evil. They built Western civilization. I mean, the whole world really with their usury. If we were living on the gold standard, it would be very difficult to build a civilization. You know how much it costs? One building in New York is like $50 million to build one building. It would take forever to build a civilization. It would take forever to build a city, let alone the whole world. So, and people hoard it, right? I mean, you got the pharaohs, the Aztecs, the Mayans. What did they do when they gained the gold and the silver? The kings and the pharaohs and the aristocrats would build their castles or their pyramids or whatever, and they will sit up in the pyramids all day with the golden plated floors, with the golden cups and the golden crowns, and just flex on the peasants. Meanwhile, us peasants are down here trading silk for chicken and giving you my daughter for your horse. We're all trading bullshit with one another. It's peasantry. Meanwhile, the 1% of the elite class hoard all the money. It's actually primitive to have the gold standard. The Jews came around and said, you give me your gold, I will give you a note. You can even split the note. A $5 note, a $10 note, and you can see how much you're worth, how much gold you have. Obviously, they would loan out the gold too and get other means of wealth, and it's reasonable. So I'm actually glad that the Jews did their usury, because honestly, someone had to do it. Because the Muslims and the Christians weren't doing it. I don't know why. Maybe because they thought they were getting brownie points from God or something. Meanwhile, the Jews had no problem doing it. They believed in usury. They didn't care. And honestly, if it wasn't the Jews, then it would be someone else. And we all know, if blacks were in charge, they would enslave. I mean, look what they did to their own people. If the blacks were in charge, they would enslave all of us. They would ethnically cleanse people. It would be way worse. If the Latinos did it, I mean, Latinos stab each other in the back all the time too. The Jews, they just run the banks and run the media. You know, it's not too bad. They're not enslaving us. You know, I mean, I would like if they didn't push the transgender bullshit or wars left and right. But that's not a Jewish thing. That's a human thing. So at the end of the day, after doing hours and hours upon research, I've come to the conclusion that this really is not a Jewish thing, it's a human thing. And we can all get caught up with the anti-Semitism and was Hitler right? What about World War II? Was that a lie? And blah, blah, blah. But realistically, it was all fairly exactly how they say it. People are contrarian sometimes, like Nick Fuentes, he's a contrarian. He likes to go against the grain. He likes to go against the mainstream narrative. And perhaps Hitler was decent in the beginning. He was a man, he was a nationalist. He was looking out for his own people. Sure, I'll give him that. High IQ, sure. Okay. Germany was down in the dumps, and in 10 years, Hitler brought Germany into a first world country, rivaling Great Britain, Russia, and the United States. That demands respect. I could respect that as a world leader. But he was a traitor to his own people, ultimately. He ethnically cleansed women and children, and men, women, and children. He cleansed the Jews. Was fiercely against the Slavs, hated Russians. That's horrible. Did he do some good things? Sure. But at the end of his life, he did a bunch of meth. He ethnically cleansed groups of people. He was a traitor to his own people. I mean, think about it. During the 1920s and 1930s, he was blaming the world leaders at the time. He was a young guy. He wasn't the dictator yet, but he was climbing up the ranks, and he was blaming the leaders of Germany, who were just so happened to be half Jewish, that they were traitors to Germany, because if they lost World War I because of these world leaders during World War I, and he said, if I was in charge, I would do this, this, and this, and this, and this, right? Naming all the good things, and everyone was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, fuck these guys, right? So they kicked him out. They implemented him. And in the beginning, he was a Man of the Year, Times Magazine Man of the Year, 1939. He brought the economy in a healthy level. It became a first world country again, and he became a superpower. Got all these weapons and arsenal, and the economy was running great. After invading Poland and France and Russia and this and that and the other, he betrayed his own people. Let's just say the whole ethnic cleansing with the Jews thing that's a separate issue. But he was talking about being the Aryan supreme race, looking out for one another of the German race, being proud of your heritage. Okay, that's fine. But you sent 20, 21, 22-year-old boys, only boys, out to Russia in the middle of Siberia, negative, in the middle of December, 30 degrees below zero, with shitty leather fucking military uniform, with one MRE and barely any fuel and shitty trucks, out in the middle of Siberia in the winter to die. 20-year-old men in their prime, fighting age males. Virgins, probably. A lot of them were probably virgins. And you sent them out to die. Is that not a traitor to your own people? People always talk, guys like Nick Fuentes say that Hitler was probably right, or Hitler was a man of the people. He sent 20-year-old boys out to die in the middle of Siberia in Russia in the negative 30 degrees below zero. That is a traitor. So Hitler ultimately was bad. Did he do some good things? Sure. But ultimately he was bad. So we're going back to the original narrative that Hitler was a piece of shit. Guys like Nick Fuentes think that Hitler was right. They're lost in the sauce. Hitler did a bunch of meth. He had anger issues. He was highly paranoid about the Jewish question. Do the Jews run the media? Sure. Do they run the banks? Sure. It's not as bad as it could be, though. they're not that bad. You know, I think it's just they're chasing these guys who are anti-Semitic. They're chasing a phantom. Is a phantom real? Probably, but is he a ghost that is possessing people and a demon that wants to kill and eat people? No. So pretty crazy. Let me know down below. I'm trying to be 100% transparent. I might get banned. I don't think I will, because I'm not saying anything bad about Jewish people. I'm actually giving them credit. The credit that I give to Hitler, it's really not credit. It's more of we can learn from all dictators. Genghis Khan, Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, Joseph Stalin. We can learn from all. We can learn from Darth Vader even. We can learn from all evils of this world. We shouldn't be afraid of Hitler. You know, because I grew up with the whole narrative, Hitler was bad. Why? Because he's bad. Why? Because he's evil. That's it. It's like, but then you do a little bit of research and then you think, maybe he was not as bad as I thought. But you do more research and you're like, yeah, he's a piece of shit guy. He was a bad guy. You know, but no one's ever told me that. I had to do my own research. And people stop after level 2. Shit, maybe he wasn't a bad guy. Maybe he is a good guy. Maybe the lie of World War II is you know. And people stop there, like Nick Fuentes. He stopped his research there, and then he thinks he's a contrarian. You know, so pretty crazy. Let me know down below. Let me know down below what you guys think. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys.